Hi, I'm Charlotte Cunningham of winningruns.com, and I'm here to tell you what we've done on our previous videos in the last 4 months. We've had Christy Peterson come on and her daughter Jordan. Christy was a WPRA 5-time world champion, and she shows us the basics. We've also had Latricia Duke of Merkel, Texas, who's one of the top futurity riders, come in and show us confirmation on all of different young horses. We've also had Jordan come on and do all by herself, showing some problems on some colts and how to correct them. And the last but not least, the Judd Little Ranch. You get to see young horses, old horses, and young colts go around the barrels, and they show you all about their training facility there. One of the reasons why I started winningruns.com is because my belief is simple. Not every person rides the same horse the same way, and not every trainer trains the same way. So we wanted to bring the industry together and to share our opinions in the different video series. So let's see what it has to say.
Okay. Now, also I hear you say soft feel a lot. Explain to me what you mean by soft feel.
Soft feel to me is hard to explain, but once you have a horse with soft, like if I pick up my reins, I want my horse to respond, just like that's a soft feel. All right, if you can do something with your pinky and have your horse respond, that's light feel. Okay, and you don't do that by getting in a horse's mouth more. You actually do it by getting in a horse's mouth less. Okay. So my basic thing is you ask with your hands and you demand with your legs. So I want to make this point real clear. If I ask my horse to go forward, I lean forward, squeeze with my calves. My basic commands are always calf first, then I go to my heel. And if I push with my spur. If that doesn't work, then I kick them. So I always ask them with my calf first. If that doesn't work, I go push with my spur, and then I eventually hit them with my spur for discipline. Okay. So that, you always go in degrees. But normally I never ask a horse more than this with my hands, and if he's not moving forward, then I get him my calves. If that doesn't work, I go to my spur to push. If that doesn't work, I'll pop him with my spur. My spur is discipline, though. So never use more force than you have to. You ask with your hands, but you demand with your feet. That way you don't get your horse pushy on the bit and not have a soft feel. You just don't pull on them all. When you're sitting here talking to your friends, do not sit there with your horse like this. So he's like this. I just can't stand that.
She is colorful. Very seldom do you get a black and white paint that I just absolutely love, and I really like this filly. Once again, came from the Heritage Place sale. She belongs to Angela Ganner from there in Abilene. She is a daughter of Okie Dokie Dale and out of a Such an Image mare. Big O-typey mare. This just a big, stout, lots of volume typey mare. She's got a pretty good slope to her shoulder, which allows for extension in stride. Deep through the heart girth, long enough through her whole body, through her rib cage, long hip, ties in. She doesn't want to be on camera today.
No, she's as pretty as she is. She doesn't want to stand there. But this is part of winning runs, not always being perfect.
She has a big old massive hip. I mean, you know, it's really hard for me to look at this filly and think 3 years old.
Right.
To me, she's a very mature filly at 3 years old. There are some things that I would change about her. I mean, that's with all of them. Probably, first of all, that I don't own her, but secondly, she's a little bit straight in her front legs. And by that I don't mean pointed forward. Straight forward's good, but she's a little probably behind at the knee and a little bit straight up and down over her pasterns.
Okay. I can see that her pasterns are a little bit.
Yeah, the angles angles a little steep on them. My husband's a horseshoer and she needs to be reset, so typical. But she's a little long in a cannon bone, a little high hawked, which you would think would make it a little hard for her to get on her hip and make her maybe a little front endy. She is a little front endy. By that I don't mean she's dumping on her front end, but when she rates, she kind of drops a little bit all over.
Yeah. I'm going to just go through some things that I think colts go through when you're adding speed, some problems that they have. You know, this is just what I think that they go through. You might have other problems, but this has just been an ongoing thing for me as a trainer that most colts go through when you add speed to them. lots of colts, when you're adding speed and you put a lot of rate into your horses going to the first barrel, your first barrel is your money barrel. And, when you add speed to that first barrel, that's when you know your horse is going to be finished, is when you can run full blast or 3/4 speed to your first barrel as a colt. And a lot of problems I've faced is when I'm adding speed to that first barrel, and even if I have them in between my hands and in between my legs, they're going to be wanting to turn that barrel so bad that they'll forget about their positioning to it, and they will start to cut off their pocket, and they'll be running to it. And so pretty soon, you're here. You're right at the barrel when you're running, and you're going to jack with them, running all the way to the first barrel to get them over and all that stuff, and that's good. So that's another thing to your basics. Your horse has to be broke slow and fast. So when your horse is running to that first barrel and really trying to cut in and turn it, then you're gonna need all that basic training. You're gonna need this to pick them up. And so that's just another thing good about your basic training that you have to go back to. So just when they're going to want to cut off that pocket, just keep them. Get that nose a little bit more. Keep them driving forward into your bit. And just always keep that basic training that you're going to need all along the way all the time.
Well, Charlotte, mainly on the road, I just like to do a lot of long trotting. And it's not necessarily in the warm-up pen. I might take them, if I can find a grassy spot, take them and long trot them in the grass. Get their minds off something else. When I'm home, Judd has a half-mile track, and I try to get them fit like you would a racehorse. Keep them fit, keep them feeling good. When they go down that alleyway, you want to know that they're going to give you 150% every time. And the only way they're going to do that is if you give them 150%. That means I'm not going to take my horse to Pendleton and run him in a 22-second pattern if I haven't ridden him in a week.
You get all these colts where you can pick up all their feet. She sacks them and gets them totally broke and totally manageable. And they don't stop till that process is finished. You can see her now flipping that rope around their legs. Watch her with this fabulous training aid that came from Walmart, which is, I guess if anything will booger a horse faster than a Walmart sack, I don't know what it would be.
Well, I agree with you. I've seen some tear up the trailer running backwards from them.
So if this horse one of these days won't go in the alley, a Walmart sack's not going to help you.
That's right.
But
first of all, let me explain what I think about bits in general. The bit is not going to win the barrel race for you. It may help you lose the barrel race if you have a bit on and you're not using it properly. I believe your best barrel run starts at home with your preparation. These bits that I have here today they're basically rigged up the same, but each one of them is a little bit different. This is a flat mouthpiece right here. It's square. Gives a lot of attention to the mouth, okay? Very light hands needs to have this. You can get a lot of attention, a lot of setback, a lot of back off. This bit here is the O-ring. It swivels on the sides. I really like this bit to run in with my colts. It's not quite as much gag as this one, and that's another reason. I don't want too much gag in my run. I want just enough. This bit here actually is the Joyce Loomis bit. I prefer to put it on a pig and string. I think you get a lot more result that way, instead of just having the cotton rope and the wire across the head. That's fine for when you're running, but these are more or less training tools. This is what gets your horse snapping around the barrels.
I've noticed that do you have these pig and strings, because they've got that right there. Do you have those specially made for you?
No.
Or do you make them yourself?
Actually, I get them from the ropers, and these are the really used up ones they're done with, and they
Yes.
give them to me. I cut this end off and make it the length that I want it, and then I bring it together with the hog rings. This will never come undone. You don't have to worry about that. And this is not likely to come undone either. The eye here, it's going to pretty much stay.
That's all for today, folks.
Join us next month for a brand new show.
Let's ride Sunday this Sunday.
All right, let's do it.